like to remind you that I'm not your financial advisor and this is not financial advice. My YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes only and to document my journey in the crypto space. I encourage you to pause the video at this time to read the full disclaimer. And now let's get on with the show. Okay guys, welcome back to the crypto wave. Hopefully you checked out my previous videos. Just want to give you another update here. If you guys have been following my channel, you know that I've been in and out of Bankroll, but as of the last probably 6 months, I've been all in on Bankroll. And there is a new game that just came out. It's actually really fun, really exciting, has the potential to really hit some big marks. Bank Teller, in essence, just revamped this rocket. It was meant to be kind of a challenge where people compete and whales compete for prizes and things, building the banker network, mining banker, as well as feeding into the ecosystem itself. And it did a good job, but then the interest kind of wore off like many of the dapps in here. So there's a new model in place that I think is going to be pretty significant. And in essence, the way it works is you are competing to be the captain of the rocket. And if you're the captain of the rocket, you get dividends from everybody trying to get captain from you. And if the timer here runs out, if this timer runs out and you are the captain, which it'll say it here, you actually will get 30% of the reserve. So I actually played last round. We're only on round number 4. I played round number 3 and actually held the captain for a moment. And what ends up happening is you have to have a minimum of 250 gallons, which in essence is 250 Tron. And as you roll, once you have that 250 in here, you can just do rolls of 10. And every roll of 10, because that's the minimum, picks a random number. If your random number matches the lucky number, you become the captain. While you're captain, you will actually see your gallons, or in this case Tron, they're just calling it gallons. You'll see this steadily rising with everybody trying to roll 88 or whatever that happens to be the round number. As you hold captain, everybody who's rolling to take this, you get dividends from that. While you hold it. Now, if somebody rolls that number, you are no longer captain, you no longer get the dividends. However, if you are captain and everybody's rolling and you're collecting dividends and this timer runs out and nobody else takes it, then you are taking 30% of the reserve here. So in reality, I mean, I ended up spending 800 on the last round in order to get captain and plus the 250, which is a pretty good chunk. But if you look at what is there, so 21,390, you would actually get 6,417 Tron of this reserve. Just for, I mean, in reality, you could actually roll 250 and then become captain. I mean, I've seen people, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, sniping it or whatever you want to call it, where it's like 1 or 2 rolls in and they're getting a lucky number. Now, unfortunately, mine took 800, which is fine. Because why is that fine? Well, it feeds right back into this bankroll network. So if you come down here, it actually tells you kind of what goes where. And what ends up happening is 72% of the total buy-in deposited, this goes into Daily Plus. This means right off the top, 85% of buy-in is ready to flush. 10% of it goes to Captain's Reserve, 5% goes to the Captain Rewards. This distribution is pretty epic. So if you actually look, with this 800, I actually mined 36 Banker. Plus, when you finally flush your fuel, it goes over to your, it stays within the network basically. And one of the biggest things that goes into is this Daily Plus. If you guys have not gotten into this Daily Plus yet, I highly recommend it. It has been, if you look at the graph and such, it's actually been steadily going up. The contract balance is steadily going up. Now, it takes a large percent, it takes 50% if you just buy directly into it. But based on how much you put in, it's going to tell you the approximate Tron that you're going to get daily, which I don't want to necessarily say is guaranteed, but it's basically guaranteed. The reason this value is calculated is because it's going to feed you back the amount that's sitting in the reserve, feeding everybody that's still holding the day token. So as you can see on mine, I've actually been tracking it. So if you actually look, where's my, here it is. So here's my Daily Plus. I end up going in with 1,500. I initially put in another 240 later. These are what I've pulled out so far. If you actually look, it's matched 349 as to what I've pulled out here. I rolled 240, that's this year. So with that, I actually have 1,168, which in reality, I can actually sell and get 1,000 Tron back. because this isn't like your typical ROI. You're actually able to pull out the value that you want. Now, granted, there is a fee going in and out, but it's not that big of a deal, especially if you ROI. So right now, mine is worth 1051. So we'll come over here, 1051. So as of right now, with what I've put in versus what I've rolled, I'm actually 80.46% ROI from what I put into it, which isn't too bad because I'm obviously not a big baller anyways. But in reality, the reason I'm comfortable with this, and I think the reason everybody else should be comfortable, is simply because this Bankroll network has just been absolutely a juggernaut. I mean, it's coming up on a year. It means this thing has been running for a year. I had quite a bit of credits in here. I FOMO'd in, I FOMO'd out. At this point, everything I'm doing, I'm rolling back into it. It's literally, I mean, daily. I'm up to 2,000 credits here, and everybody knows me. I'm not a huge person that goes into these things. I just don't have enough crypto to do it. But I mean, this has been steadily climbing simply because all I constantly do here in credits is when I hit 10, I roll it in. My daily routine. I come over to my daily plus. I wait for this to get 10. I'm averaging about 13. When this gets to 10 or above, I roll that right in again. Then I jump over here. My credits I just did. I come over here. You know what I didn't do yet is my air. Free roll. I've won 5 times. I've rolled quite a bit, but hey, what are you going to do? You never know. You can get it. Let's close that. I come over here to the retiring daily just to see if I have anything accumulating. I got about 4 in there. That's not too bad. It takes forever, and this is going to be retiring soon, so this is just, I'm kind of milking it for what I can. And last but not least, if you guys have not gotten into Banker yet, this is the juggernaut. What I end up doing here, and you can see what I've rolled versus what I've withdrawn, and this rolling goes into credits. Withdrawn, I've just pulled out here and there, because what I usually end up doing is I withdraw this out, and then I go over to Tron Trade and buy Banker, bring that Banker back over here, freeze it, thus increasing my dividends in this Banker. I'm actually up to 759, and I didn't realize it, but I've actually been accumulating this. I started with, I think, like 50 or something like that. I've been accumulating like crazy. So 759 current Tron trade is approximately 8. Which is about 6,000 Tron. Tron is what, 0.025, I think, right now? Oh, whoops, I did too many zeros there. Hold on. 759 times 8, and it's about $151 worth of Banker if I were to unfreeze this and pull it out. No plans on it. Honestly, my goal is to get this to about 1,000. That's going to go up a heck of a lot more because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find some Tron floating around someplace because this has got about 6 hours left on it. It is currently around 4. This captain's been holding it for a while, so I don't think there's a lot of people playing. If you come down here, you'll see if people are. Yeah, in fact, the last roll was that guy taking it back. Nobody's shooting for this right now, so if I'm awake, which I should be, if I can come up with 250, I mean, it took 800 last time. Maybe I'll pull over like 500 and start shooting for this to see if I can get this lucky number. Because if I do, and that timer ends, then that 500. What did I figure out earlier? What was that 30% out of 413 times 30%? 6,400. So if I can roll like 500 Tron from somewhere, and granted, it depends on if I get the lucky number or not, I can turn 500 into basically 6,000. All the while mining Banker, which is part of my goal anyways. I'm not really big on the luck, that's just not my thing, but that's all to build up this Banker value to continue to pull from the Banker depot. So I know that sounds very, very complex, and I can try and go into kind of dapp by dapp on later videos, but I want to tell you because if you have not gotten into Bankroll yet, you know, if you're looking for a solid platform. I've been in other ones. I've gone into this Tewkenaire here. I pulled everything out of this crazy simply because I can't handle the chat. I mean, there is just like so much drama, and people raise very, very good points because this ambassador floor thing is not as it was intended to be from what I'm gathering. Whether it's misunderstanding or not, it is way too much turmoil in there to be putting something into an hourglass. I don't care what's feeding it. I don't care that games are feeding into it because all it's doing is feeding the ambassadors, which is, in my opinion, if you've been in this before, the more the whales hold, the less gets distributed to everybody else. So if everything that's being mined in the partnership is going to the ambassador, all it's doing is increasing their value and their stake and diminishing everybody else's. I don't know if that's true or not, but it wasn't worth my efforts. I took everything out of there. However, I still am in the stable. The reason I'm still in the stable is simply because it's stable, meaning it's 1-to-1. It doesn't have that weird fluctuation. It's very slow. It's a drip. But the fact that I can pull this value out anytime that I would like, I'm good with that. And that goes the same. I've started doing this whole Hex 2 thing. I don't have a whole lot, but I figured I would try it out since the Hex token's been so big. But I'm not trying to say that this is a bad development team. What I'm saying is, if you wanted a solid team, solid dApps, a very intricate, fun dapp that helps you accumulate and build, I mean, everything is intertwined. All I'm literally doing within this system is rolling one into the other. So I'm rolling my banker into credits, I'm rolling my daily plus into credits. I will sometimes withdraw credits when I hit values. I'm already up to 2,000, but as I get this, sometimes what I'll do is I'll pull this out, go buy some more banker, put that banker back into here, and it's just this kind of self-sufficient, self-running machine that's been slowly building up. I think I started with maybe $50 right now, and at the moment, given everything that I have in here, so I'm up to $231 off the initial 50 some odd dollars that I put in way back when. Had I just stuck with it, didn't FOMO in and FOMO out and all that kind of jazz, especially with this new rocket, I feel like this is going to be a little game. Now, everything loses steam over time, but right now this thing is a juggernaut, and the fact that you can reserve will be pretty elevated for quite a bit of time because only 30% of the reserve gets paid out when people win, which means that even if nobody plays, this is going to be up there for quite a while. So, anyways, hopefully this isn't too long-winded. Hopefully you understand. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to try and do like individual bankroll dApps kind of explanation if you want me to, kind of how they all tie together. But there's so many videos out there. This is just more of vlogging my journey and kind of what my plan is. And my plan is to, as I just said before, roll everything. Roll in my daily, roll in my banker, roll in my retiring if I get anything else, and then I'm going to start shooting for this rocket. Ultimately, always building up my credits and keep running this daily plus. If you want to be in an ROI that's sustaining, is doing its job, this daily plus, don't sleep on it. In fact, I thought there was a graph. Here you go. So here's the graph since initial. So a couple of flat points, but always going up. Always going up. And this, you will get your ROI so long as this keeps going up. And let's say that it finally does go down. Fun thing about this is you can still pull out this day. You are still able to pull out what you're holding in here. So anyways, guys, hope this is well. If you have any questions, drop a comment. Please subscribe. Please like. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.